It's Christian, your Vancouver Realtor, and if you enjoy the stories, the content of this video, give us a thumbs up or subscribe. We love having you. All right, so the topic of today's video is renovations that bring the best return on investment to you. Okay, and the reason I want to share this with you is because you might be watching this sitting at home or around your kitchen thinking, hey, it's maybe time to upsize. It's a hot market, it's busy, it's active, let's sell our place. And oh, by the way, honey, before we do that, why don't we do a renovation? We'll make even more money that way. Unfortunately, it actually doesn't work that way, and I kind of want to just invest in and examine sort of the three flaws, the three common mistakes I see sellers make when it comes to renovations. So let's do that right now. And the very first one is when they do dive in and do a reno before they're listing their home, they do one that has no broad appeal, meaning it's an ugly reno. Now we've seen this in a few places, and I think most of the times it's not so much that it's ugly, it's just not that it appeals to buyers' tastes. I'll give you an example. I had a couple of years ago, I had a perfect test comparison. I had two listings at the same time in the same building at the same corner of the unit, of the tower, same floor plan and everything. One was renovated, one was not. And the one that was not was one floor lower, and it was an original condition, and it had, very soft colors, light, orangey, beige. It kind of felt like Hawaii in the 1980s. And the suite above it had been renovated by a father and his son, and they did a great job on the renovation, except they used darker colors. They had darker cabinets, the color of the paint was grayish, the floor was, I think, a maroon color, and I found it fascinating observing buyers coming through and just watching their reactions. People liked the light-colored original unit as much or more than the renovated, darker-looking unit. So that's why today, and I always counsel all my sellers, if you're going to do a renovation, if you're going to do anything, make sure it's light and bright, especially in small spaces like condos, okay? So keep that in mind. That's the first thing. The second thing that I've seen before is just sellers listing their home and doing a cheap reno. We call this a landlord reno in the business. The tenant moves out, the landlord's held the property for maybe 10 or 15 years. They're tired of dealing with tenants, so they list the property. Of course, they know they've got to freshen it up a bit before they hit the market. And what they do is they paint, they get, their nephew to come in and paint, which they shouldn't, and then they change the floors. And sometimes they just put in the cheapest laminate you can find. And the cheapest laminate you can find will be sometimes $1, $2 a square foot. And it's obvious that it's not a high-end product. Anyway, buyers come in and they can see that, and they are very savvy and they can see beyond that. And it works sometimes, but it doesn't always work, okay? And I've seen many more cases where that type of renovation, it can just be a waste of time and a waste of money on your part. So if you're going to do that, make sure you use a nice quality, good paint and a nice, good color as well. And the same with the flooring. The third thing that I see the sellers do that is a mistake is they overvalue their renovations. And I want to dive a little bit deeper on that point in this video now. And I'm actually going to reference here the Appraisal Institute of Canada. And they have sort of the 5 things they say offer the best return on investment if you do these things, improvements to your home. And the first thing you need to know is that if you put $100,000 in renovations into your home, it doesn't mean the buyer is going to pay you exactly $100,000 for it. And I've had that where, a seller said, I bought it for $900,000. I put $120,000 of my own money into it. So at minimum, it's got to be $1.02 million. I get the math, and the math makes sense, but it doesn't work that way. Renovations are kind of like a car. The day they're done, they start to lose their value ever so gradually, right? Because things get older, they get worn down, appliances, for example. What I see and what this institute suggests is that you're looking at about a 75% return on your investment. So $75K back for $100,000 that you put into your reno. You're really making the most money on the appreciation of the asset. I've actually had a couple of house flippers say to me, Christian, I feel like I didn't need to renovate this thing at all. I could have just held on to it for 2 or 3 years and sold it and made a lot of money. I didn't even need to renovate it. So, and that comes from guys who do this professionally. Now, let's get onto these points here of the best 5 things you can do. Number 1, kitchens. Yes, I would agree with this. I think kitchens are the focal point. It's the meeting place in the home. It's where families might spend 2-3 hours together every single day. If you're going to renovate just one space, one place, you're going to focus on your kitchen, right? It occupies a large physical space in your home. The cabinets, the counters, the floor around, and so on. I would say, though, keep in mind that you can go overboard on a kitchen too. I have seen this. I did list a property, a townhouse, about 3.5 years ago. Seller had done an incredible job, put $120,000 into the kitchen. Let me give you an example, imported Himalayan salt block to be used as backsplash, had cabinets imported from Germany, automatic closing, which you just tap with your finger and they would go up and down. And thirdly, had custom-made Fisher Paykel, a high-end appliance maker, custom-made fridge and freezer imported from New Zealand. Look, it was a fantastic kitchen. The issue was the rest of the home was original. And so it just, no matter how incredible the kitchen was, buyers weren't going to pay a premium for it. Okay, so you can go overboard on the kitchen. Make sure you spread that renovation out evenly throughout the home. If you're doing a kitchen, you probably want to do a bathroom as well. Now, on bathrooms, very personal space, very important to the ladies. A few tips there. What we did in our own rental unit was when I replaced the vanity, we put in a his and hers, meaning double sink vanity, because that one only has one bathroom. So that's something you could do. There's a couple other things you can do. I know there's companies and services now where instead of pulling out your bathtub, you can keep your bathtub in there, and there's this epoxy-like spray you can spray. It's white. It looks like brand new. It saves you, $2,000-$3,000 of having your contractors go and throw the thing out. Go down to Home Hardware, buy another tub, install that, and all that goes with it. But bathrooms, when it's nicely tiled, right, especially if you've tiled the right up to the ceiling, it can add a really nice finish to the home. So that does add value, but don't expect to get a 1-for-1 return on it. Very important. Third and fourth, painting. Now, the Institute here recommends painting the interior and exterior of your home. Absolutely. Look, if you were to do just one thing, and this is what I recommend to my seller clients all the time, I say, if you're going to do just one thing, a fresh coat of paint. It's the cheapest thing you can do. A 1-bedroom condo, maybe $1,500 to $2,500, should be plenty. Fresh coat, Benjamin Moore's Cloud White. Eggshell is another tone we see used a lot of. It just freshens the home up, makes a world of difference. Also, flooring is the fourth thing here. They call it decor, updating decor. I agree. Follow the same rules for paint with the floors. With the floors, you want to go light and bright. Light and bright, okay? And for example, a color that we've put into our own a rental unit is a silver laminate oak color. A silver oak laminate flooring. We've also have a maple flooring and another place. So these are the kinds of light tones that really work. If you have something too dark, like just like a chocolatey color, it just doesn't work when it's on the floor. Okay, it just darkens the home, and you want it bright. Okay, and you notice that in Vancouver, especially in the winter time, because it's cloudy, it's rainy, there's less sunshine, and so when you want a buyer coming through your home, whether it's a townhouse or a condo especially, you want it feeling bright, which that will do for you. Finally, the Institute here, and good for them, they recommend the fifth thing. It costs you nothing at all. It's simply this. It's just some time and energy. Declutter your space. This is a big one, and I've had to work with sellers on this, and I've even taken on listings that didn't sell because they were too cluttered, okay? And they just had too much stuff inside the house, especially in the bathrooms and the kitchens. The countertops were full with, and let's say in the bathroom, for example, just makeup, hairspray, shaving cream, all that stuff has to be put in the cabinets. Great tip for you. If you're ever selling your home, I always tell my guys to do this, is go to a pre-sale center, right? Walk through their show home. Take a look at how they present it. That's how you want to present your home when you're selling it. It's exactly the same idea. Some sellers will say, Christian, how can we do that? We're living here right now. That's fine. You're not going to have buyers viewing your home every day. What you do is you would put those things in little cartons or boxes in the cabinets under the sink, okay? And you just declutter that way. Makes a huge difference. When you have too much stuff in a home, it's visually distracting. And so that's the principle behind it, okay? Hopefully that's been of value to you. All right, I think we've covered most of the key points here in terms of updates, improvements that you can do with your home. A couple of things I'll just point out that I've noticed in the past that I think add value. Closet organizers, okay? There's different companies. California Closets is really well known for this. They'll usually send a salesperson out to your home. They open up a laptop, put it on your countertop, and they make suggestions if you're ever doing renovations. But you don't need to do this if you're selling your home. This is just for your own personal use, okay? But it does add a lot of value. Okay, feel free to leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time.